Hi friends, welcome back to the mat. Welcome back to your practice. Welcome back to my channel. I am Katie Arnold and today's practice is all lower body focused. Think hips and thighs and backs of the legs. So I hope you find this practice really supportive for you. It's going to be nice and gentle. I am going to suggest that you grab a blanket for this practice, just one. If you want to have any other props nearby, just as nice to have in case you find yourself in a position of wanting it, feel free to take a moment and grab those. And then we are going to get started in a nice easy seat. So if you want to sit on the edge of the blanket, you are welcome to do so if that feels supportive for you. Maybe take a cleansing breath, just like me, to help yourself drop into your practice, drop into this space that we are in together. So seeing if we can create a little bit of space from whatever may have come before this, whatever may be coming after. And then trying instead to come to a state of presence. Sometimes that's one of the hardest things to do, is to set aside time like this for ourselves and then to be really present with ourselves through our practice. So for me, this feels like a challenge today, and maybe it is for you too, and that's okay. We meet ourselves where we're at. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, start to walk your hands forward in front of you, maybe coming down onto your forearms or just finding your depth. So we're in this nice, easy seat. Hips are pulling down towards the mat or towards that blanket. And we're just really gently here starting to get into the hips. No need to force anything. If you want to find your Ujjayi breath, you are welcome to do so. If you want to just take any gentle breath or natural breath, you're welcome to do that here too. Start to walk your hands back to the top of your mat and switch out the crossing of your legs. So whichever foot was on the outside is now going to be on the inside. Take a couple of breaths just sitting up nice and tall here. So throughout our practice, you may hear me make a few suggestions on taking an inhale or an exhale at different points in time. But through the rest of our practice, it's really up to you if you want to be connected to an Ujjayi breath or that natural breath. Sometimes when we focus on our breath, it can be really helpful to help us find that space of presence. Take an inhale. Exhale, walk those hands back forward. Find that forward fold. So if using your breath is something that feels really supportive for you today in that practice of presence, then by all means, I highly, highly, highly encourage you. And start to sit it back up nice and tall. Slide that blanket out from underneath, and then take that right shin, bringing it parallel with the top of our mats, creating a 90-degree angle with that right leg, and then creating a 90-degree angle or so with that left leg as well. This is our 90-90 pose, deer pose. You may have heard it in a few different uh, names or variations. And just take a couple of breaths with the spine nice and long. And then if you want to start to twist over towards the right, left hand can come to the right knee, right hand behind the right hip. Still sitting up nice and tall here for this today. And then come back facing forward. And if you want to walk your hands out here, maybe come down onto your forearms if that's available. 4 more breaths here. So 3 different variations within our deer pose. Inhale, sit it back up nice and tall. Plant your hands behind your hips, feet down to the mat, and just take some gentle windshield wipers from side to side as we reset before we take it over to the other side. All right, so left shin is going to be about parallel with the top of your mat. Create that 90-degree angle, and then right leg is back, also in that 90-degree angle. We start just sitting up nice and tall here, 4 breaths. And start to twist it over to the left. Right hand can come to the left knee. Really no need to force anything here. So if you find that as you're twisting, this is really not feeling good for your body in any way, I want you to take it back forward. Nothing wrong with just holding our 90-90 with that tall spine facing forward. All right, come back forward, and then you can take that fold if you would like, finding your depth. Again, no force. Try to stay connected to a state of presence. So maybe staying connected to your breath, maybe staying connected to just curiosity about how this feels in your body. Curiosity if you need to back out. Curiosity if you have more space to explore. Inhale, sit it back up nice and tall, hands behind your hips. Take those windshield wipers from side to side. All right, come back forward. If you want to sit on the edge of your blanket again here, you are welcome to do so. We're going to extend the right leg out long. Left foot's going to come on the inside of the right leg. So we have this little seated tree pose. Square your shoulders with the right leg. Inhale, reach the arms high. And then exhale, start to fold it forward, finding your depth. So maybe today you're grabbing onto the calf, maybe it's the ankle, maybe it's the bottom of the foot if that's available to you. Soften here. Inhale, sit it back up nice and tall. Right foot's gonna stay extended. Take that left foot, hop it over, up and over the right leg. Sweep the right arm around, left hand behind the hip, nice seated twist. And so again, we're not forcing anything here. You could bring the right elbow to the outside of that left knee. I really like having this right arm hug the knee into the chest, and especially in a class like this where we're focused on the hips. For me personally, when I am hugging the leg in towards the chest, I feel a greater stretch right now along the outside of my left hip. As soon as I take my elbow to the outside of the right knee, I feel more of the twist in my spine. It's not to say one is better or worse, but different intentions here within the pose, right? Gently come back through center. We're going to take that right leg, bend the right knee, slide it in towards the glutes, and then work to stack the knees on top of one another. This is our Gomukhasana, cow face legs. This is a big hip opening. It might be really uncomfortable for a lot of you. We never want to be in a point of pain. So if this isn't working, keep that right leg extended. Take a figure 4 here instead. And just start to work yourself here. It's okay if the knees are not stacked directly on top of one another. And then you can either stay sitting up nice and tall like this, or you can start to walk your hands forward, finding your depth. Inhale, sit it back up nice and tall. We're going to unwind those legs. Take some windshield wipers. Creating a little bit more space here. And then we'll start to take it to the other side. Left leg is going to extend long. Right foot on the inside of the left leg. Inhale, reach the arms high. And then exhale, start to fold over that left leg. And you might notice from one side to the other, things might have a little bit more space or a little less space. Might feel a little bit tighter, and that's okay. Just meet yourself where you're at on each side. And really work to release any judgments. Inhale, sit it back up nice and tall. Hop your right foot up and over the left leg. Sweep the left arm around. Hug that right knee into your chest. Hand behind your hip. Find your twist. Being the spine nice and long. Come back through to center. Take that left knee, bend the left knee, bring the left heel in towards the right glute. Work towards stacking those knees. It's okay if they're not. And then you can stay sitting up nice and tall, or maybe you start to find that hinge forward. Again, each side is going to be really different. This feels super, super tight for me. Just getting into this shape feels a little bit harder for me on this side today. So even as we pause here and we hold this, if you find it becomes too much, you might start to sit it back up nice and tall. Or if you're sitting up tall, you might start to notice as we use our breath that you can start to hinge it forward a bit. Inhale, lift it back up. Unwind your legs. Take those windshield wipers side to side. All right. So we're not going to use the blanket just yet, but I want to prep it right now while it's handy. So I'm keeping my blanket folded up a couple times still, but then we're going to roll it up so we have our little blanket roll, blanket burrito. And then once you have that, set it off to the side. Meet me in a downward facing dog. So let your hips go up and back. We're only here for a moment just to pedal out those feet, getting into the hamstrings a little bit more. If you would rather hang in this downward facing dog in stillness, it's also welcome. Listen to your body here. Maybe you do a little bit of both, a little bit of movement, a little bit of stillness. And then drop down onto your knees and lower all the way down onto your belly. All right, extend the legs out nice and long. Take that right arm and just kickstand the right hand over towards the left. Bend that left knee, reach back with that left hand to grab onto the left foot. Getting a nice calf stretch here. You could always use a strap or a towel or something like that, a scarf, to help grab onto that left foot if it's not available to you here. Gently release that foot. Be really mindful not to slingshot the foot down. Plant that left hand, kickstand it over towards the right, bend the right knee, reach back with the right hand to grab onto the foot, just taking it to the other side. Gently release that right foot and go ahead and just flip over like a pancake for the sake of video. I'm going to kind of make the ugly transition here, but you can just flip yourself over like a pancake so we're all meeting down on our backs. And then this is where that blanket burrito is going to come into play. So plant your feet down on the mat, knees up towards the ceiling, press into the feet, lift the hips. Take your blanket roll, slide it underneath. So we're in a supported bridge pose with that, the sacrum resting down on your blanket roll. And then from here, keep that right foot planted. Just extend the left leg out long so we get a nice stretch through that left hip flexor. You could always grab a small pillow or another blanket for underneath your head, like I just did. If you need a little bit more support, use what you've got. My bun is in the way today, making it hard for me to rest my head down. So that blanket or this pillow is helping support me here. And then gently slide that left foot back in, plant it down on the mat, slide and extend that right leg out. Right heel is down on your mat. Using your breath here. You can play around with having that foot active, flexing the toes back towards your face, pointing the toes, or just letting the leg be heavy and soft, and see what feels best here today for your body. And for our last few breaths here, we're going to actually extend both legs. If you find this is not going to work for you, then you're just going to take a supported bridge pose with both feet planted down on the mat, but start to extend that left leg long to meet the right, both legs extended. And then again, if this is too much, slide both feet back in and just enjoy a supported bridge pose. So start to slide both feet back in. We'll all take a few breaths in this supported bridge pose. Press into the feet, lift the hips up, and either slide that blanket roll down. So that way, as we land in our Shavasana, the blanket roll is underneath the knees, or just slide it out from underneath the body entirely and make your way to your Shavasana, legs extended, arms by your side, letting yourself soften as much as you can here. Take a big breath in through your nose. Sigh it out. Gently bring some small movements back to the body, wiggling fingers, toes, rolling around the wrists and the ankles. Maybe taking a big good morning stretch, reaching long, fingertips to toes. And then rolling onto your favorite side, finding a fetal posture. And gently pressing yourself up to any seat that feels supportive for you here. Maybe you want to sit on that blanket roll, maybe not, choice is yours. Let the sit bones be heavy, hands resting down on the knees. Once again, I invite you to take a big breath in through your nose. Open your mouth, let it go. Inhale, sweep those arms out nice and wide, palms meeting overhead. Exhale, let your hands come down through heart center. Thank you so much for joining me. Om Shanti. Peace. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today, friends. I hope your lower body is feeling really good. I know that I needed that. I had a leg day yesterday and I've been feeling it all day today. So that was perfect and just what I needed today. Hopefully it was also just what you needed. We carry a lot of stress and tension in our hips. So if you notice a lot of release kind of coming in that form, lean into it, embrace it. It's super common. So if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please take a moment to do so. I would be so grateful. It helps more people find free yoga practices just like this. And I am a small creator on this platform, so I do apologize if you had your practice interrupted with any ads today. I have no control over the placement of ads on my channel, but if you are looking for an ad-free experience, the link for my Quiet the Noise membership is in the description below. You can go check that out, see everything that it has to offer for practices for you, and an updated daily practice calendar every single month, all for the cost of a latte these days. So go ahead and check that out. I would be so grateful to have you join me in that community over there. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you back on your mats for your next practice.